Welcome back to GA Fan TV. My name is Aaron. I'm delighted to be joined here by John McMahon from the JMac podcast for the Round 3 preview of the National Football League. We're at the halfway stage. Round 3 is here. Plenty to discuss, plenty to break down. We'll both be giving our picks and predictions ahead of this weekend's action. John, how's things? Are you excited for some more Division 3 action this weekend?
Don't know if it's a touch or a rubber an insult. I don't know what it is, but yeah, all good, my man. Good to be back on. An absolute pleasure to be joining you tonight on a cool, crispy Thursday evening. United are at the draw with Barcelona, obviously representing in style tonight. So obviously that was a 2-2 result. I know you're probably devastated to see this jersey on me, but 2-2 against the mighty Barca. It's weird because it's obviously the Europa League. It's a packed new camp, but that's a game that should be happening in the Champions League. So hopefully United can get back to the holy grail of the Champions League and get back to where we belong. But yeah, all good, buddy, all good.
Happy days, happy days. I'll be more than happy to keep Barcelona and Man United on Thursday evenings. But then again, I think Liverpool might be playing on Thursday evenings if we're lucky next season. Well, we'll see what happens. But thankfully enough, we don't
like
have
a big man. It's looking like, yeah, it's Gas Klopp is doing the old fist bump and watch his bet. Who the other day? I think that moves into what 9th or 10th. So,
look, we won't discuss that anyway. Thankfully, we're here to discuss about the real game, the Gaelic football, the real sport, our national sport. This is what we're here to discuss. How have you found the National League so far? I mean, it's been interesting. A lot of the games have been competitive, and obviously we're nearly at the halfway stage now. So, what's been your sort of general perspective on sort of the opening couple of weeks of the National Football League?
Yeah, no, it's been a good start. It's been a good start. A lot of teams probably that we didn't expect have had such a good start. And then, of course, there's been a couple of predictions and calls maybe that we've had in our own head that probably has came true, maybe in Division 1. But in fairness, like when you kind of go through it, Division 1, the former Roscommon, I think I said this to you a few times and been saying to lads in our WhatsApp group chat for the podcast that I just think Roscommon are getting a kick from Davy Burke and Mark McHugh, obviously the new management team that's gone in there, and I could just fully see that happening. I just think Burke just seems so infectious. He's just GA to the core, and he's got a really good bounce out of him. Roscommon had to be, of course, we'll be talking about the Roscommon and Armagh game now in a couple of minutes, but I think they could even go there and get a result as well, or even in Hyde Park this again. So it'll be interesting to keep the winning momentum up. But Roscommon, in fairness, still leading the way in Division 1, and David Burke will be thrilled with that start. The likes of Monaghan and Donegal, I don't know. I think it could be a tight year for them gentlemen this year. I think they could. I think it might. I don't know what kind of game it would be this again. Of course, we talked about that in a few minutes. They'd maybe have had it up and down at the start. Monaghan got thumped the last against Kerry. So Kerry moving quite well, even without the likes of David Clifford. I know we're only 2 games in, but Tony O'Sullivan was unreal the last day. Kerry played some incredible football the last day out, just such direct, good football. The likes of who else is there? Armagh had a good enough start. I think a lot of people are tipping Armagh to win the league. I think the Armagh hype train seems to be starting already. Based on what, I'm not sure, but we'll have to see. Division 2, look, Dublin, Derry leading the way as we thought that was going to happen. Dublin, look, I think we all expect Dublin, they will go straight back up. I think they will beat Cork this weekend. I know it's away from home, or their home pitch being Croke Park. But no, they'll get the win this weekend against Cork, I'd imagine. But no, Dublin have fluid. Derry under Rory Gallagher. Rory is just taking no chances this year so far, playing the Glen lads, and you would have obviously thought that the Glen boys would have got a bit of a break. So yeah, I think as expected in Division 2, poor Limerick's just got off to such a poor start. Likes of Clare will need to improve. Kildare and a bit of spot or butter as well. God, they will need a result this weekend. Division 3, I suppose ourselves, we are leading the line. Obviously, good start against Westmeath. I didn't really expect us to beat Westmeath, but we did. Very convincing win over Tipperary. So I think a lot seems to be playing out as is, maybe bar from Division 1 where Roscommon are absolutely flying. And then in Division 4, Leitrim are doing very, very well. It's great to see. I think Andy Moran, year 2, managers can have that year 2 syndrome of maybe not going overly well. But look, I think Leitrim will have to get a bounce out of that man. Like, if you're not going to get a bounce from one of the best footballers to ever play the game, I'd be very surprised. Oisin McConville, Wicklow struggled so far. I just think it probably for the rest of the season, fair play to Oisin for throwing his hat in with them. I just think it's going to be a struggle for Oisin and Wicklow this year. I just don't think the artillery's there. Few retirements in the last couple of years too. But look, Oisin, it's his decision, not anyone else's. Sligo have shown a bit of form too, but Leitrim have been very, very good. London been quite good so far. So yeah, no, interesting start. 2 games in. Hard to judge it just yet. I think we'll know a bit more maybe after week 4 where teams are at. But yeah, look, the hurling was on last weekend, and thank God the football's back this weekend. That's all I have to say.
You're not following Cavan in Division 3B or 3C or whatever they're in?
I'm not a small ball fan. Even the overall game, I wouldn't watch much hurling. I'd watch probably the All-Ireland semis, the All-Ireland finals, but I'll throw my hands up in the air and say I am not a small ball fan. It's big ball or nothing for me, to be fair. I know there has been a bit of a renaissance and getting the hurling going in Cav again. I know we got to the Larry Maher final last year, but yeah, it's a big ball county.
100%. Well, I suppose we'll crack in with the Division 1 action. Mayo and Kerry, the first game. I mean, this is going to be mouth-watering on Saturday night. I mean, you think of the history between these two. You think of the meetings that these two have had down the years. I mean, I was obviously released a bit of a reel there, a bit of a teaser on my own channel there earlier today, like looking back at some of the big memories. Like you think of the 2014 meeting down in the Gaelic grounds and everything else. And just looking at it there, Mayo haven't beaten Kerry since 2019 in the Super 8s. Kerry have won the last 4 games these two sides have met. So I'm sure the Mayo faithful in McHale Park, they'll want to turn Kerry over, get that victory.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a great game this weekend. I think everyone, whatever you're going to be at, I think the world, I think Ireland will just stop and get around their TV sets. If you're in the pub, you'll be sitting with a pint of porter or a pint of whatever you're having yourself in front of you, and you will be watching that game every inch of it full. It will be a mouthwater game. I think they've said this before. This is why we watch football. This is why we follow it. It'll be a great game. Both teams, Mayo 2 draws so far, Kerry 1 loss, 1 win. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I think going into it, I think Conor Mortimer, I had him on the podcast during the week, and he was saying maybe David Clifford might be rested for this, but I think the likes of maybe Paddy, Clifford might start, maybe Sean O'Shea could be in contention. I think Sean O'Shea was saying at the championship launch during the week that he wants to get himself back in. So, it definitely shows where his mentality is at. But no, it's going to be a great game. You'd be probably looking at a fairly packed house as well. Mayo, the last 2 games, the Armagh game, it's hard to know how they're through that Armagh game. I know Armagh's grit, determination, desire got the draw out of that, but I think they have to be kicking themselves after the last day. When you're winning by 5 points with a few minutes to go, you have to see the game out, and maybe that's been Mayo's downfall over the years in All-Ireland finals, etc. But no, look, I think it'll be a serious game of football. A lot of people are saying Mayo favourites going into it. Not sure. I know home advantage, but I think Kerry, if they get a few of the big guns playing, you could be looking at a kingdom victory. But look, I know it's going to be so juicy. Like I think we're looking at the likes of Ryan O'Donoghue, the likes of Killian O'Connor, the Aidan O'Shea factor. You start him, you put him in, you put the big man in full forward. I think you were a fan of him the last day out. You thought he had a good game. He was actually quite good for against Armagh last day. But yeah, no, it's going to be great. Saturday Night Lights, it'll be brilliant.
Yeah, certainly will be all right. And as you said, like, yeah, I'd kind of agree with you there. Like a little bit surprised that Mayo will be going in as favourites, maybe because they have the home advantage and the fact that Kerry obviously have a lot of men rested. But I suppose the word on the street, anyway, from looking around on Twitter, and now Twitter is not a reliable source by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of people saying Sean O'Shea and David Clifford, they mightn't start, but you would expect them to feature. And I suppose, given the Paddy Clifford came off the bench the last day, you would think, right, maybe now it's time for Clifford and Sean O'Shea to come off the bench. Because I suppose starting them as well, like this is bound to be a really feisty, tough game, and it'd probably be a bit, I don't know, you'd be a bit nervy watching on as a Kerry fan if you were to just throw Clifford right back in. Now look, he has the talent to go out there and just absolutely set the world alight, but you would look at it and think that might be a bit risky in terms of injury.
Yeah, look, I think it just depends. A lot of it depends on, what maybe Jack O'Connor wants to get out of this league campaign. Like, does he want to get, does he want to get to a league final? Does he want that extra game? Does he want to just consolidate himself in Division 1? It just depends what Jack O'Connor wants to bring to the table. Jack O'Connor is a shrewd man, probably one of the shrewdest men the GA has ever produced. He'll not give too much away, but definitely the sound bites coming from Sean O'Shea's press conference during the week. Sean O'Shea looks like he's mad for road again. Do you give David Clifford that bit of a rest? He had a long year last year. I know this is a Mightwater game in prospect, but it is only the league. It just refers back to it. Like, does Jack O'Connor want to go out and win the league? Does he want to go out, get a win this weekend and put down a marker? But I don't know. Would Kerry be okay without David Clifford this weekend? I know if Paulie wants to play. Donny O'Sullivan moved extremely well the last day. Michael Burns was brilliant as well. So I think Kerry might just have enough within their locker for a league game to play against Mayo. And look, I think it'd be a great chance even. Like, I think if they are to bring David Clifford back in, David Clifford's going to be a consistent starter for this Kerry team. But I think the likes of Donny, the likes of Micheál Burns, I think to keep running these lads because, these could be some of their final games they might play for Kerry this year. So I think it'd be a great chance. Paul Geaney's still injured. Geaney will walk back straight into the team. So I think if Jack O'Connor, I think I'd stick with the lads from the Monaghan game. If Kerry are in absolute trouble this weekend, maybe bring on David, which probably will and could happen. But I think keep running these lads because game time's limited, big man.
Yeah, because I suppose I was almost thinking as well, like how much does this game matter to either side? Like, or who does it matter more to? Like, between the two sides, as you said, Kerry, like a win for them. Fair enough, it would mean a lot to go away to Mayo and turn them over. But I suppose at the same time, like Mayo and Kevin McStay, if they go 3 games without a win, 2 points on the board after 3 games, like they're looking over their shoulder all of a sudden, and relegation might be likely. Like, they still have some tough games as well. And let's not forget that I think they have to play Tyrone on the final day or the second last game. I mean, that would be a tough one, and we know their record against Tyrone, so.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, you probably are looking. You probably are looking at, and that's maybe why Mayo might be favourites going into this because they probably need the points maybe more than Kerry, and that's maybe why people are tipping their hat to them. But do Mayo go full strength this weekend? Like, do you start Aidan O'Shea in full forward? Maybe do you give Killian O'Connor that starting jersey? Obviously, Ryan Donoghue has been absolutely brilliant the last few games. Like, do these gentlemen start from the off? It just depends what the managers want from these games. And look, me and you are not going to figure this out in the Thursday night what the managers' mindsets are going to be. It just depends on what they want. But no, look. Again, it'd be a great game. Saturday Night Lights, as I said. Look, don't get me wrong. I think from a GA public, I think we'd all love to see David Clifford this weekend. But is this the game he needs to play in this weekend? I know it's going to be on live television. Is there much at stake for either team? As you rightly said, I'm not sure. Do you give David that bit more of a rest? I think so. But look, we're not Jack O'Connor.
Yeah, we seen Mayo play that running game obviously in the second half, and as you were saying, like Aidan O'Shea did make a bit of an impact. I mean, he was causing a lot of chaos sort of in around that full forward line. Like, do you think Mayo might approach this game in a similar fashion, and if so, do you think it will work?
Yeah, like, look, Aidan O'Shea, he was very, very good against Armagh. And, like, I think a lot of people have been reading a lot of articles and people are kind of saying, like, Mayo are finally seeing the powers of Aidan O'Shea. So, like, what's that saying? Get the ball into the big man. And that seems to be the case. And that's probably something that could really work on because, like, if you do go with that Aidan O'Shea inside, and I know Conor Murray was saying during the week that, Mayo can have been quite reliant on Ryan O'Donoghue in the last couple of games, but even if you could get something like maybe the likes of Aidan O'Shea in full forward and Ryan O'Donoghue and Killian O'Connor both feeding off him, if that could work, that could be very, very beneficial. And obviously, Tommy Connery to come back into the mix as well, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, look, I think Aidan full forward, if a fit Killian O'Connor, a fit Ryan O'Donoghue, experimented. League is still very much about experimentation. So look, this weekend, who knows, that could does Kevin McStay have that in his locker? But it would be very interesting because I think now is probably, I know Aidan O'Shea comes in for a lot of criticism and media and bits and pieces, but I think now is the time maybe for them to think, what are we going to be doing with this man? Like, is he the 10-15 minute man at the end of the game? Do you start him in full forward? I think that they do probably need to utilize him before he hangs up the boots.
Yeah, like I think it'll be interesting, all right, because when you looked at Kerry's fullback line, that started in the win versus Monaghan, you had Jason Foley, Tom O'Sullivan, Graham O'Sullivan, who all played, and if Kerry and Mayo were to meet at some stage in an All-Ireland quarter final or possibly beyond, Aidan O'Shea would be going up against the same fullback line. So, like as you said, it might be worth the risk of just seeing if it works out. Try it for the first half. If it doesn't work in the first half, then change it. I suppose that's the main thing, is obviously changing it if it's not working. Like we have seen now in the years, Kerry did, or Mayo did try to do this at times, like under James Horan a little bit, but like I always found it just never really worked with Aidan O'Shea, like when they did play him inside, especially against the likes of your Dublins and your Kerrys. Like he caused a lot of chaos, but in terms of scoring wise, he just wouldn't quite do the business. But as you said, maybe it's worth trying if he has good men around him.
Yeah, no, that's my whole kind of point around it. And I think, as I said, before he hangs the boots up, which I don't think will probably be too long away, I think they should get whatever the best is out of Aidan O'Shea and put him in. Like, if that means it's this weekend, absolutely fine. Because again, it is league, it's not championship, it's not an All-Ireland semi-final, it's not the All-Ireland final. So I think this weekend, it could honestly be worth a gamble, because he did play full forward against Armagh. He did cause havoc in there, but I think it's like anything else. You need good people around you to be successful at something, and this could be the weekend to try something. Because I think if you have a fire and Ryan O'Donoghue, which he is firing at the minute, I think Killian O'Connor's in and out of fitness. I don't know, Tommy Conroy can't be a million miles away either, surely. Get good men around him, and God knows what could happen. God knows what could happen. We'll wait and see. He could cause that Kerry full back line a lot of hassle. Kerry's back line could be a bit up and down at times. And again, obviously, special shout out to Tom O'Sullivan after the last day against Monaghan. He kicked 2 worldies of scores. It's great to see a cornerback getting up the pitch and supporting the play. It's always a pleasure to kind of watch that play. But yeah, this weekend, God, it'll be very, very tight. I think Kerry's cuteness might get them over the line.
Yeah, I'm going to back Kerry as well. I think Mayo will bring a lot of chaos, but I think Kerry, especially after seeing them against Monaghan in the second half, like they really kicked into gear. And as you said, like Sean O'Shea and David Clifford mightn't start, but I think, could you imagine Kerry being 1 or 2 points up, or even 1 or 2 points down, bringing them on to see out the game? Like I just think that push in the final 15 minutes for Kerry, I think, will be critical. We have Galway going up against Tyrone. Galway, in a similar fashion to Mayo, yet to record a win in 2023 in the league. Tyrone obviously got off the mark with a victory against Donegal. You think back to the last time that these two played each other in the league in 2020, it was just before COVID, when Galway absolutely wiped the floor with Tyrone. Remember, they won by 20 odd points, I think it was. So, look, I mean, it's a big game, this, because, I mean, whoever loses here might be in a bit of trouble.
Oh no, definitely. And I think from a Tyrone perspective, and I know Tyrone, haven't they got to win the last day against who did Tyrone
Donegal
beat? Donegal they bet Donegal the last day, and obviously Roscommon bet them the first day out. But I think if you're a Tyrone player supporter, I think you should be looking at the big W this weekend, just due to the fact that Galway are down serious men, like the likes of Damien Comer. I don't think the injury is as serious as people thought it was at first, but I think Comer will be a huge loss. I think Shane Walsh is obviously still in his travels, so I think two men not being about for Galway, I really think, I think it was a few people are kind of maybe tipping Galway's home advantage, but I honestly think if you're a Tyrone, I think you have to be targeting the win this weekend. I think you have to smell that bit of blood. I think the likes of Darren McCurry, the great game the last day, you need to play him when he's hot. Colin McShane. So I really think Tyrone should be. I know it's a tricky place to go to. Tuam is not an easy place to go up to, but I think Tyrone, I think they should be targeting the win this again, because I think Galway were I think Finney Hanley was very vocal on my podcast last week. He was very vocal about Galway's input against Roscommon. So I think Tyrone should be looking at the big W this weekend. Galway, as you said, they could be looking over their shoulder if they don't get a win this weekend, but Park Joyce definitely won't be happy. He will get the men up for this game, but I think, I really do think Tyrone should be targeting the win here.
Yeah, plenty of comments flying in there. So if people are watching, make sure to get your opinions in and smash the like button and all the rest there as well. JC says Tyrone aren't the same at all since 2021. And Richie Ryan says Galway missing key players in Comer. Tyrone have a chance. And they're missing obviously Finnerty as well, who's out with an injury. As you said there, Shane Walsh, is he back from Australia? Is he back from his holidays? We'll have to wait and see. I'd imagine they don't want to rush him too quickly. But, you know, Peter Cook has obviously come off the bench, I think, in the last 2 games as well. So, as you said, like with Galway, I mean, could there be a case maybe of the fact that last year went so well for Pádraic Joyce? They got to an All-Ireland final. They won a Connacht Championship. Sometimes we do see this where a team gives so much, and then the next year you're expecting them to kick on, and it just doesn't quite happen. Like, do you think that could be a case for Galway, or is it a case of the injuries are hurting them?
Yeah, no, you see, that's what I'm thinking. Like, and I know a lot of people, and I don't want to kind of repeat myself, but like a lot of people are saying, "Oh God, Galway have the home advantage, go on and win this game." But I really think if Tyrone want to pick up 2 points on the road, go up the Tuam, and I really think they should be targeting, because like they have to exploit that. Like, if any team don't have the 2 best players around, you know, Galway were very, very, even when Comer went off the last day against Roscommon, Galway basically nearly had no plan going up top. And it was an ideal day for football, as Finian Hanley was rightly saying. So I know, look, I think if Tyrone get back down to basics, get a good structure around their team, I think Brian Dooher, he'll be mad to get the win this weekend. You know, Tyrone will obviously want to consolidate Division 1 football. So I think, I just get this feeling Pádraic Joyce be leaving with his tail between his legs this weekend. Could be wrong, of course, but no, I just think Tyrone have more artillery than Galway this weekend.
Yeah, Gavin says Galway probably the stronger team than Tyrone, but now they might be vulnerable. What are you thinking then? What's your pick for this one? Do you think Tyrone will get the victory, or?
Yeah. Look, 100%. Look, Pádraic Joyce will not be happy with his start to the National Football League with Galway. He wasn't a happy camper the last day. He wasn't a happy camper after the game against Mayo. So he will be mad for a win this weekend. But I just think Galway's down to too many men. The Damien Comer factor being injured, Shane Walsh being in Australia, probably having a barbecue as we speak, chilling out, relaxing. He's dead right, by the way. I'm going for Tyrone.
Yeah, like I had a draw wrote down here as my prediction, but to be honest, you've kind of convinced me now to lean. I'm
like the devil on your shoulder.
Yeah, you've made. Do you know what? I'll stick with the draw. Because what worries me is Tyrone have just been very inconsistent over the last couple of years.
But I think it's a Tyrone win this weekend, big man. I'm telling you. I wouldn't set you astray.
I don't know. I'd be curious to know what people think in the comments, but I think most people maybe are probably slightly leaning towards Tyrone. But as I said, their inconsistencies, like were they that good against Donegal, or were Donegal that poor? You know, like that's the big question, really.
Yeah, I know. Look, I think Tyrone got themselves very well up for the game last weekend, the weekend before against Donegal. But Donegal, it's clear to be seen that I know they got the win against Kerry, but Donegal will struggle this year. I think the Michael Murphy factor alone is a huge loss to that team. And obviously, I know we'll touch on Donegal now in a few minutes, but Paddy McBurdy out with the hamstring injury, it seems to be very bad by all accounts as well. So he's going to be a huge loss. So I think that win against Kerry maybe papers over a few cracks for the Donegal setup at the minute. But yeah. No, I think Tyrone, they'll get the win this weekend.
Yeah, and you mentioned Donegal there, perfect time, and really, I mean, Paddy McBurty, as you said, out with a hamstring. I mean, that's a huge blow. I mean, to be fair, he didn't really set the world alight. I felt in the 2 game in the opening.
And that's the problem.
Yeah. Look, I know he scored that point versus Kerry, and probably a weird one, really, because it was the standout moment of the game. But he didn't really do much else. Do you know, do you know that way? I think he might have been brought on as a substitute, maybe, or something in that game. But at the same time, you look at it without Paddy McBurty. And to be fair, some of the young lads have looked good, like Halen McColgan, Johnny McCroddy's looked all right. I've seen him play Sigerson as well. He looks like a decent footballer. But like even some of the experienced lads for Donegal probably aren't really, putting it together. And yeah, it's hard to know what's going on with Donegal at the moment.
I know, it definitely is, and I think I made this point before. Don't get me wrong. I know it's all well and good for me to be saying, but I just think, Paddy McBurty 2 points in the last 2 games. Michael Murphy has stepped away and obviously retired, and that day was always going to come. But I just think McBurty, he's been there since 2011. I know there has been a bit of a reliance on him at times, but I think 2 points from 2 games. I know he got the winner against Kerry, but I just think that input for the longevity or long term as a replacement as Michael Murphy, I don't think that's going to cut the butter. an injury to Paddy McBurdy now, one of the score getters for Donegal, that's really, really not going to suit them. Do they have the caliber of forwards, the likes of a Colin McFadden back in the day, the likes of a Michael Murphy, the likes of a Liam McClue, Mark McHugh coming in there at the minute for Donegal? I really don't think they do, because that's why I think Donegal probably will struggle this year. And obviously with McBurdy being out with a hamstring injury, it's kind of like the icing on the cake for them. But look, if they can get a show on the road this weekend, it'll be very interesting. I know Paddy Carr has gone in there, fair play to him. Not many men stepped in for that position, so Paddy went and took it. But I think it was Conor was saying during the week, the sound that's coming from Donegal GA maybe as a whole, the likes of Carl Lacey stepping away from his coaching role within the county, probably maybe emergencies or all is not well by the looks of things. But from a Monaghan perspective, it's kind of, they're struggling as well, because Conor McManus, I don't know, was even in contention at the minute. Conor McCarthy, a bit of a load to carry there as well. They looked absolutely toothless against Kerry. They were very, very poor. Kerry just, I don't know, did you get seen in the game, but Kerry just ran at them. I think it was Shane Stapleton of our game, or was it Shane, or I think it could have been Shane. He was just saying, he was praising Paddy Clifford's goal, saying it was one of the best goals he ever scored. There wasn't a man near Paddy Clifford. He just absolutely ran towards the Monaghan defence. It just opened up like the Red Sea nearly. So no, Monaghan were very, very badly organised against Kerry the last day out. Kerry obviously didn't have some of their big guns playing. So I think Monaghan and Donegal, I think the supporters of both counties would have to be quite worried. There doesn't seem like, obviously with the likes of Colin Walsh, Drew Wiley retiring from Monaghan, is the same personnel there fit to come in, slightly like the Donegal situation. So both teams, God, yeah, no, I think if you're a supporter, you have to be, I know obviously from a Monaghan point of view, Vinny and Marty Curry's gone in there, no better men to lead the charge, but I think Monaghan, it's probably plain and simple. They need to get, I know you can't keep relying on Conor McManus, but it's probably at a stage where they need him back.
Absolutely, yeah. And Jack McCarron's injured as well for Monaghan, and we know how much he loves the National League, especially usually on the last day. So I mean, like having him out, and as you say, Conor McCarthy's looked all right, but yeah, and as Richie says here, two evenly matched teams in Monaghan and Donegal. I'd say a draw here, both in transition. A lot in the background in Donegal GA doesn't look great. Things need addressing. Obviously we don't know for certain what's going on behind the scenes with Donegal. When you look between the lines, there does seem to be potential issues. As you said, Carl Lacey stepped away. Michael Murphy retired and maybe left it quite late in the year to actually retire. Paddy McBurdy now injured. It just seems like the house of cards is crumbling in Donegal, and Monaghan beat them in the league the last 2 seasons running. So another loss here, and you'd be staring Division 2 in the face.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I did kind of say this just in the group chat earlier on, with Paddy McBurdy being injured, you could be looking at potential Division 2. Maybe that might not be the worst thing for Donegal to rebuild if they were to get relegated and just build and get a few players back up and get a bit of confidence, maybe within the setup, of course, after Michael Murphy's retirement. But look, are we in for a big game this weekend? Quality-wise, I'm not too sure. Will it be a bit of a dogfight? I think so. Yeah, look, I think Monaghan might just scrape it. I think home advantage will be key in this. Obviously, the likes of, I know Jack McCarron's out injured, but I think Monaghan just will have that bit of cuteness, maybe a bit of cuteness up top. But God, they'll have to. I tell you what, Monaghan, the coaches have to be, they would have just had to be relieved to have 2 weeks to work on things after the Kerry game, because if there was a Monaghan game last weekend, they simply would have been bet. So I think Marty and Vinny would have just have to be thrilled to have the 2 weeks. Home advantage, I'll go with Monaghan probably by a whisker, but yeah, are we in for a good spectacle? I'm not too sure. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I think I know we can't. I know man, they can't keep relying on the likes of Conor McManus. I know that is much of an injury update on him. I know the hips wouldn't just be fantastic. I know he's probably 34, 35 at this stage, but I think they're going to need that man back very, very soon if Monaghan are to have any chance this year. But yeah, Monaghan by a whisker.
Yeah, JC says Monaghan and Donegal could be the relegation battle. Yeah, I think it's very likely that both of these go down, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I suppose, as you said, I'd go with Monaghan as well slightly. I think when you look down through the years, Monaghan have been in these battles and they've, they target these games. They beat Donegal last year and stayed up. They beat Donegal the season previously, which was crucial in them staying up as well. So like Monaghan, they look at these games and they say, like, this is our moment, this is our chance. And look, they might still end up going down anyway, but you get this result and get this win, and it gives them a good chance.
I know, yeah, no, it definitely does. Like, and you see, I think from years gone by, I know obviously Dublin went down last year, but Roscommon would have been maybe relegation favourites in years gone by. Bit of yo-yo team, but the fact Roscommon have started the league so well, Armagh have started the league quite well. The teams you might have thought might be going down probably won't go down now. So as the commentator just said there, you probably would be looking at the likes of Donegal or Monaghan or maybe both teams to go down. Look, is this a bit of shadow boxing maybe for either team to go down, like from a relegation point of view? But look, I think worrying times for both counties, and like I think the spine of both counties, the spine of the team kind of has gone to a degree. Like when you lose, as I said before, the likes of Drew Riley, the likes of Colin Walsh, obviously with Mike Murphy and Donegal, they're big, huge misses. So yeah, both counties in a bit of disarray, I would imagine. And I've seen obviously Marty and Vinny talking after the Kerry game, and they just look like the pair of boys just look like seeing a ghost. I know Kerry just really put on a big show, but Christ, coming away from was that game in Killarney, like if you're a Monaghan supporter, I'd say that was the longest trip home of your life.
Yeah, two teams on the opposite side of the spectrum, really, is
Roscommon
and Armagh. I mean, like, it's mad. Like the last time these two played each other was in a relegation playoff. The time before that was in a Division 2 game towards the end of the season, which was very much a settler for promotion, although both sides did get promoted in the end that year. So, I mean, yeah, Roscommon, 2 wins from 2 under Davy Burke. And as you were saying at the start there, Davy Burke's really got a kick into these lads. And like Roscommon are absolutely flying at the minute.
Yeah, I know they are. I don't want to kind of sound like a broken record, but I have been on the lads in group chat to maybe kind of look at Roscommon as dark horses this year. I think it's high time we start seeing. I've said this to you in numerous podcasts before. The quality and prowess that Roscommon have forward wise, the likes of the Murters, the likes of the Smiths, Conor Cox, they are blessed with good talent, and it could be no different this weekend. You wouldn't even be surprised if they got the win this weekend, especially after picking up 4 great points. Burke is just, I've watched a few coaching videos that he's done. I've watched obviously the few podcasts that he's done. He had good success with the Clare under 20s, a good success with the Wicklow lads even. So yeah, no, I'm not surprised by that bit of a renaissance going on in Roscommon football at the minute. Mark McHugh gone in as coach to help him out there. So he's a vast loads of knowledge, Mark. So he's only recently retired, so he'd know a lot of county teams inside out. Armagh no different. So look, I'm not surprised by Roscommon's kick so far. They're absolutely flying. Armagh into things. Armagh, look, they will be targeting the win this weekend. I know a lot of people are tipping them for Division 1, but I know the supporters can get very hyped up, but I think they're probably lucky to get the draw against Mayo the last day out. They can count themselves very lucky, but I don't know. Obviously, Rian O'Neill had a great game the last day out, and Aidan Forker obviously coming out from the full back line doing really well, and obviously the keeper in between the sticks, the name has escaped my head. Armagh's keeper, Ethan Rafferty, yeah, he had a great game the last day as well. So, yeah, look, it'll be a great game. On a side note, and God, I think this news could have broke on a Monday, and maybe it's probably for a separate conversation, but I don't know about you, Aaron, but it boiled me blood with the GPA and the GA about the expenses fallout. Apparently, Charlotte Burns was saying this morning that I think the expenses are finally being sorted, but I think obviously the likes of who raised the issue on Monday, was it the full forward for Armagh? He tweeted, he tweets saying that the Armagh boys didn't get their expenses and they've been training since November. Your head to be fried looking at this kind of stuff. Like you have to just I did tweet saying we have to look after our players because of the product, and I've said this to you a million times before. The managers are surely getting their money. The coaches are surely getting their money. The chairmen, the secretaries, the PROs of all the county boards are surely getting their pay slips. Why, in the sweet name of God, are the players not getting looked after?
Yeah, and I seen online, I think in an article or something, I don't know, it might have been balls.ie or 42.ie or someone who posted that apparently it was just a computer error. Is what they're saying. Apparently there was a backlog or something of that nature. And And it's kind of mad. Like as soon as Aidan Nugent and Aidan Forker was in the comments as well, mentioning that does Armagh nearly even need to go on strike? And look, obviously they're not just speaking for Armagh, like they're speaking for every player, because every player hasn't received, like what Aidan Nugent said there was spot on. Like no player has received any expenses so far this year, and it's because of some computer backlog issue or something of that nature. And it's mad. As soon as these players have come out to question the issue, then all of a sudden it's the article comes out and it's like the GA have got something ready there. This is what's going on or whatever. Like everyone will be looked after. But yeah, like I mean, you don't, as you said, probably a conversation for another day. You don't want to delve too much into it here, but yeah, like especially with the cost of living crisis and everything that's going on, it should be a priority really for them,
I know it 100% is. And like, from a student point of thing, like end of things, like if you're a student traveling up the road to Armagh, come from Dublin or Belfast, or wherever you might be studying, and you're maybe just on your grant or your scholarship that you might be getting, that's not going to suffice. That's not going to longevity, maintaining yourself. That's not going to wash. So like, I just keep saying it, like everybody involved within a county team is 110% getting their money. The players, like if it wasn't for the players, me and you wouldn't be talking tonight. We wouldn't be running a podcast. Like as Aidan Falker said, like does it get to a stage where the players don't show up, where they don't go to training, they don't go to the games, they don't show up, and then what happens? Like what happens to all the commercials? What happens to the boys in the suits walking around Croke Park? What happens then? Like so, like. I think me and you've had this conversation the last 3-4 years, and it's been going on even longer than that. Look after our players, for the love of God. As Paddy Andrew said in the podcast during the week, the Off the Ball podcast, like players shouldn't be out of pocket representing their county. They're representing the county. They're doing the sponsors on the jerseys. Like I'm seeing so many sponsors on jerseys these days, on the side and there and the back and the whole lot. Who's getting that money? The players aren't getting that money. Pay the players, give them what they want. They're putting fuel in their tanks of the cars. They're representing their county. They're representing their clubs. Sort them out. Look after them, because if we don't have the players, forget about it.
Absolutely. I think you're spot on there in what you're saying, and I completely agree as well. And like it's so annoying at the minute, because seems like every week or 2 weeks you've a new thing in the controversy.
Constant.
And like we don't want to be complaining, we don't want to be giving out about these things. We want to be discussing the good things, the games and everything else. That's what we should be discussing. But it just seems like every now and then, like every couple of weeks, there's something else to discuss.
And there is, and like the annoying thing is, every time, like if we don't discuss this, if myself, yourself, Aidan Falker, and the other man who brought this up on Twitter on Monday night, if we weren't to discuss this, or people weren't going to highlight this issue, the issues wouldn't be solved. So you need to raise the issue for the GA, the Gaelic Players Association, whoever might be in charge of the show at the minute. Because like if people are raising concern in the issues, bringing it into media, talking to journalists, doing whatever, I don't think these issues are going to be sorted. So I just think, for large parts, from an outsider looking in, and people, obviously everyone has their own opinions, but it just feels the people who are, like, as I keep saying, I don't want to sound like a broken record, like the coaches, the S&Cs, the statisticians, you name it, whatever's nutritionists, like they're getting their paychecks. At times, the way the players are treated in the GA at the best times, you just feel like guinea pigs. And, go on, lads, throw on that jersey. We'll run you to the bone. We'll do this, we'll do that. The coaches, who is getting well paid, the manager, who's getting very, very well paid, and the players, it sounds like the players are just throwing on the jersey for the pride of the jersey at the minute. Last thing on it, just look after the players.
Yeah, Richie says here, the pie is big enough. Players are at the heart of the GA, and their families pay them what they're due. No excuses. These players sacrifice a lot for our counties and entertainment. It's our national game. Look after it, and those that work hard for it, club and county. And yeah, like and it, and let's not forget last year the argument as well that was going around was that the players aren't even getting that much anyways. Do you know what I mean? Like they're barely getting that as it is. It's not like it's a huge amount. Huge amounts coming in. It's barely anything in the first place, but. As you say, something is better than nothing. So you know what I mean. It's better in your pocket than someone else's. Do you know way?
Oh no, 100%. Like you're talking about gate receipts, and you're talking about like packed Croke Parks, and you're talking about All Ireland final days, and like who or what. Like I'm seeing all these. Like even I said this. I think it was a Seamus Brady's podcast. Like I see even on the Cavan jersey, like there's a sponsor there, the sponsor there, the sponsor there. Like who in the name of God is like, who is getting that money? Like, are the players seeing any of it? Like, what is going on? Like, who is running the show? And I just think when especially when an intercounty player raises an issue like that, and have the GPA release a statement about these expenses? No, they haven't. Have the GA release a statement about the expenses? No, they haven't as well. So leadership failure once again. No leadership for the Glen Kilmacud situation as well. So it's just, like, we see, the president going to be elected tomorrow. No, Charlotte Burns is making a strong case for tomorrow. He wants to go ahead with it. He spoke quite well on Off the Ball this morning. But look, is he going to be the man to drive the thing forward? I'm not sure either. But look, it's just so bloody frustrating.
Yeah, like, and I had high hopes for Larry McCarthy as well. Like, I mean, coming in as president, the work he done with New York, but it's just, I know he, like, with COVID happening, it certainly wasn't easy to deal with. But I think, yeah, from start to finish, it's been an absolute mess. I mean, even at times he's getting the players wrong, like players' names wrong. When he's giving out the trophies.
Sorry to put in, Aaron, but like I'm just the blood pressure's up. But it's just been a disastrous from a PR point of view, from a player welfare point of view, and even this crack of lads playing the Sigerson and the county. I think it's been a disastrous start for the GA. A disastrous start to the new year for the GA. But I think that Glen Kilmacud thing, this players' expenses, the player welfare. Oh my God, who's run the show? What's that comment there? Disgrace, the players not getting paid 100%. GA charged €5 for absolute disgrace. They're making the money. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. Charging kids into a game. Under 16s should be absolutely free into games. It's our national games. Let the kids play. Let them run around at half time. They should not be charged. Under 16 should be free. And I think they were free for the Division 3 games. But look, yeah, 100%. It's the men walking around with the suits, with the county logos on them, walking around, as Kevin McGurdy says in my podcast, with the tea and biscuits or sandwiches at half time, walking around talking all the absolute nonsense of the day. Oh, sort of players out.
100%. Well, back to the game anyway. I mean, I suppose we went on a bit there, but I mean, like it
needs to be talked about.
No, it does. It doesn't. To be fair, I was actually thinking of mentioning that at some point as well. So you sort of just, I suppose, a good time to mention it. And Gavin says here, Ross on a roll, and Armagh have great fans of the Hyde, should be packed anyway. Richie also says, I thought Roscommon were lucky against Galway rather than good play. Will judge them at the end of the league. Definitely talent in Roscommon. So what do you think then? What are you thinking here? I mean, could Roscommon make it 3 wins on the bounce? I was looking back there. I think the last time Roscommon I actually don't think they've ever won the opening 3 games of Division 1 on the bounce. So I mean, that would be some achievement if they could do it.
Oh no, 100%. And look, I think it's kind of like anything else. I think it's the likes of Dr. Hyde Park. I think that needs to be a fortress for the likes of Roscommon, and we see even Park Tullet for Meath. I think that should really get a fortress going with that. Kildare, Newbridge has to be where Kildare cash in. But I think even from the Roscommon end of things, I think they could even target to win this again. I think it'd be just great for the self-esteem of the players. David Burke will be targeting to win this again. He will fully believe himself that he can get a win this again. He will get it breaded into them Roscommon boys. They can go and do a job this again. And I honestly think they can. It'll be very, very tight. I think it'll be cagey down there. Armagh will want the points as well, but no, it'll be a very, very tight game. Can Roscommon keep this winning up? Was that week break, this 2-week break, did that will that harm them? I'm not sure, but don't know. I think Roscommon in the most narrowest of margins.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Armagh. I think this might be a bit of a reality check for the Rossies, unfortunately. I think, look, they've started well. They've got the opening 2 wins, but I think last week, like from what I heard, they didn't even play that well. That's what a lot of people have been telling me. Like they didn't actually even play that well. It was more that Galway threw the game away. And I still think Roscommon are making plenty of progress, but I just think this might be like Armagh, just a bit more of a season side. They've been through this last season, and I think I just think they'll turn them over by the smallest of margins. But I mean, look, you wouldn't bet against another Roscommon victory either.
No, absolutely no. 100%. You could definitely make cases for both teams. Kind of like basically all Roscommon games so far. But I think Roscommon will have to be delighted with their start. Could you be maybe looking at a draw? that could be potential. Dr. Hyde Park, a nice tight pitch. But look, 100%. Your case, your argument's absolutely valid. You can make a serious case for both teams. But look, hopefully it's a good game of football, and the morale keeps going. But Davy Burke, he's only looking at a win this weekend. I've watched so much about him on him. No, he's convinced that Roscommon's win that game this weekend. But hopefully we are in for a mouth-watering spectacle.
Yeah, moving on to Division 2, the main event of the weekend, the game that everyone...
on TV as well, yeah.
It's on TV as well, yeah. TG Cahir, I think it is. Cork versus Dublin. Obviously, these two are very familiar with each other. I mean, the capital against the real capital, as they call it. I think it's only the Cork people who call it the real capital. We certainly don't call it that. But yeah, here we go. Cork and Dublin in Division 2. I think the last time we played each other in the league was 2015 or 2016. Right. Interesting enough, actually, the last time Dublin played Cork in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, Cork did win. I think it was 2013 or 2014 or one of them years. So, I mean, look, I mean, what are you thinking here? 3 wins on the bounce for the Dubs, or could Cork cause a shock?
Look, I think we're looking at the Dublin win this weekend. Obviously Dublin were very good against Limerick the last out. That was an expected win. First out against Kildare. Me and you had this conversation before. I think they were quite poor, but no, I think this is a Dublin win. Convincing. You're probably maybe looking 6-7 point win. I think for Dublin this weekend. I know obviously going away from home, Cork will be a bit of a trek. But look, no, I think they will win. It just depends what maybe Dublin kind of team shows up. Desi Farrell, does Dean Rock had a great game the last day out. Do we see Conor Callan, Dean Rock inside once again? I'm wondering what the crack is with the likes of Paul Mannion. Is there a bit of a break for him, or does he fire him in this again? Because I think obviously Mannion will want to, if he is, of course he is back for Dublin this year. Does he get in this weekend? It'll be interesting. Jack McCaffrey, I think McCaffrey being rested at the minute, but no, look, all signs towards a Dublin win. But look, I suppose if you're going to throw a few throw a few predictions at it, the likes of Stephen Sherlock, could he upset that Dublin defence? He's been unbelievable so far for Cork this year. The likes of Brian Hurley, that's maybe the boys you need to kind of be really looking at to harm that Dublin defence, because Sherlock will need to be on it for minute 1 if they're to have any chance against the Dubs this weekend. But no, I think, as you rightly said, I think the experience, the bit of guile for Dublin will get them over the line. Are we going to learn much from this game? I think, was it the Irish Examiner podcast lads were saying, I think it was James Horan, just from Cork, anything, Cork. And just, I think we need to know what's that people say, will the real Cork kind of stand up? We need to learn more about Cork. Obviously Danny Gould and Matthew Hurley, big, obviously Cork fans, and they're kind of just trying to figure out where are Cork and what they're going to be bringing to the table this weekend, and even for the further afield. But look, the right men are in place with Cork football. I think, look, if they're to lose this weekend, but I think lose in a manner where I know that's probably the analysis, but like you're supposed to be realistic about it, but lose in a manner where they can learn things from the game. They don't get wiped off the field. If it's a few points defeat, you need to learn loads of stuff from these kind of games, because if it's a railroading, if Dublin win by 15, 20 points, no one's going to learn anything from it. Dublin won't learn anything. Cork definitely won't learn. So lose. It's really funny saying this, but lose in a way where you're learning stuff from it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head there in terms of Cork. Like, I think, it's mad with Cork. They're such an unpredictable team. I think they might be the most unpredictable team in the country, because against Kildare, absolutely flawless. I mean, they were 1-8 to a point up at half time, and maybe it might have got to do with Kildare being really, really poor, and we'll get onto them a little bit later. But in the week previously against Meath, I mean, they were they were kind of okay. They never really looked like they got out of third gear. And then in the final 15, 20 minutes, it just completely collapsed. So you're looking at it from a Cork perspective, and you're thinking, if they turn up and go at Dublin, make a game of it, the fans will be on Dublin's back trying to make a game out of it. It's not often that Dublin come to Páirc Uí Chaoimh in Gaelic football. So if Cork can get after Dublin, make a bit of an occasion out of it, it might be a bit closer than what people think, but at the same time, it depends on what Cork shows up, because if they start really flat and they start poorly, and Dublin are on it themselves, I mean, you could be talking about a game that's over after about 20, 30 minutes.
You see, that's exactly it. You're just hoping, like we've seen so many of these games before, the likes of Dublin, Cork, and Croke Park, and I know, of course, this game will be in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and we might learn a bit more. But we've seen so many hammerings that Cork were on the receiving end off from Dublin. So I just think we need to learn a lot more from Cork, as you said, the capital, the pick of players, the pool of players that they have. So I think it really is time for Cork to stand up. I obviously, Mr. Walsh Kevin Walsh has gone up to coach there, and he knows his stuff. He's a great man to have about the place. So surely he can maybe unlock a few holes within the Dublin setup. But I just think when it comes to it, it'll be one of them games. Look, I would love a tight game this Sunday. I'd love it to go down to the wire, Division 2 football. It'd be great to see a great game this weekend. But I just think Cork, look, if they were to get a win this weekend, it would be huge. It'd be great for football. It'd be great to see it. But just, I think it keeps reverting back to this point. That just bit of experience with Dublin probably will get them over the line. Dublin want to get the hell out of Division 2. They want to go straight back up. So I just think Dessie Farrell this week, he'll be saying to his players, look, lads, it's in Cork. We need to get the win. Let's get the hell out of this division. Let's get us back to where we belong. And I think it's going to be win ever a tree this weekend.
Yeah, Richie says Cork building. I think Dublin are a more settled team. Yeah, and it will be interesting as well to see if, as you said, if Paul Mannion, Jack McCaffrey come back. Obviously, McCaffrey did.
I think,
yeah,
sorry to put in, but I think even from Paul Mannion's point of view, I think it'd be good, like definitely from a Dublin point of view, but I think Paul Mannion wants to stake a claim within this team because obviously I know he's been out for a while and he's come back into the Dublin setup and Kilmacud, that whole mess with Glenn and all that kind of situations sorted now. So I think Mannion will need to, I even think from an impressionable point of view, he will need to maybe play one of these games or start even maybe this weekend and just see what way he's fixed. But sorry, you're saying.
Yeah, no, look, I was kind of saying what you were saying there, really. Like, I think you just need to blend them into the back into the squad. Like, obviously, he would be familiar with playing with Con O'Callaghan, Dean Rock, Noel Scully, Kieran Kilkenny. Like, he knows these lads inside and out. But I mean, it's just about slotting back in there and getting your flow back, because when the championship comes around, although the Leinster championship probably once again will be routine sort of way through to the group stages or whatever, but you want them fit and available, you want them ready, because you don't want any lacklusterness by the time we play let's say in a quarter-final we play a Tyrone or a Roscommon or an Armagh, because you don't want rustiness then, because that's when it will hurt you. So and although it's quite early, you want them to get game time now, really, because or is it too early? I don't know. It's a tough one for Dessie.
Yeah, no, 100%. But that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, surely there's Dublin lads in the forward line. They're thinking, right, okay, will Paul Mannion just come in and take my place? So I think Mannion, I think the penny probably will need to drop with him. I think even from Jack McCaffrey's point of view, because there's lads that would be in or about the Dublin team at the minute, and they'll be thinking themselves, right, am I going to get game time this year? So I think it's maybe time. I don't know. On the fitness on the pair of boys, like surely Mannion's fit by now. Surely Jack McCaffrey's not in too bad nick himself. So I think these are some of the games that the boys will need to come in and play. I know they haven't featured in the last 2 games, but look, I think if you're a Dublin lad there at the minute, a Dublin player at the minute, and you're trying to get in and about the place or even get your starting jersey, and you're seeing maybe Paul Mannion, I don't know, along the sideline or just, I don't know, in the box watching the game or from afar, and you're thinking to yourself, right, is that man just going to nip in and take her place? So it'll just be, I just think, maybe not maybe from like a respect point of view, but I think Mannion and McCaffrey, what's that saying? I know, how do you describe it? We'll need to see the proof of the pudding. So I think it's time maybe for them boys to come in. Maybe from another Cork's point of view, they won't want to see them, but I think from a Dublin point of view, I don't know what your kind of opinion on it would be, but I think it's time for them boys maybe to start getting involved.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I think you got them back you got them back committed, so you might as well throw them in there, especially Jack McCaffrey. Like, fair enough with Mannion, maybe there's obviously he had a bit of a big injury sort of in the club season, and I could understand maybe a bit more of a wait for him. But I think with Jack McCaffrey, like, this guy hasn't played inter-county football since 2019, and he's barely even played for Clontarf as well. So I think just get him out there, get him game time,
and like he can't, and we're not, like, of course, me and you, like, of course, we know Jack McCaffrey's situation, we don't know him personally, but like, if he hasn't played, like, not to be like a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but if he hasn't played for Clontarf, or if he, like, I know his work can be busy, but if he hasn't played for Dublin, can't see a situation where he could be injured. Could be completely wrong on that, but I think them pair of boys, Deji Farrell will know more about this, but I think them pair of boys should be ready to go. Could be wrong, but I think they should be ready to go.
100%. Richie said squad is 30 plus, buy into it or go home. What do you think then? Dublin then by what? 5-6, maybe more?
Yeah. Look, that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, and as I said a couple of minutes ago, like Cork lose, but learn from it. You know, how do we get back? How do we get to that level? You know, let's not get humiliated. You know, it's in front of the home crowd. It's in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. You know, Cork will be mad looking for a result. Okay, will it be this weekend? I don't think so. But yeah, Dublin. Probably 5-6 points. I would probably imagine. You're hoping the game doesn't run away from Cork. You're hoping it's not embarrassing for them, because I wouldn't say I know it's a league, but look, if Cork are to be hampered in this, they'll be so far away and they'll be further away than we really think. But look, Stephen Sherlock, Brian Hurley, maybe to cause an upset, who knows? But it's probably unlikely. But it'd just be very interesting and good to see Mr. Paul Mannion and Jack McCaffrey back.
Yeah, Derry versus Meath is another mouthwatering Division 2 clash. Two teams at the right end of the table. And Derry, as we've seen, have obviously won their opening 2 matches. Meath have won their opening 2 matches as well, which might have been a big surprise to most people. So huge match this, and maybe this is the big one from a Meath perspective. Like, let's see, they've won their opening 2 matches. They beat Clare, they beat Cork. 2 games that I think a lot of people probably would have looked at and thought Meath might be in a bit of a spot of bother there, but they came through both of those 2 games. But Derry, like, away from home, this is going to be the real test here.
Look, that'll be a great game. And in fairness, Meath, to their credit, have got a serious bounce out of Mr. O'Rourke. And look, that's expected, because I think he's added a lot to that. He will add a lot to that Meath setup, make no doubt about it. Derry, Rory Gallagher, a winner. He started obviously the league very well as expected. You know, the Glen boys are in, but are you looking at a Derry Dublin promotion? Potentially are. I think that's a huge game this weekend. It's on live TV, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is, yeah.
Weekend.
It's on.
TG Carr this weekend, so that'll obviously be a great game to tune in and watch. I think it will be a tight game. I think Derry will shade it by a few points. I know O'Rourke will be mad to get a win up there. Derry, it's in Derry, isn't it?
Yep, it's in Armagh.
Yeah, it's in Derry. Yeah, so look, I think Derry, Armagh. Yeah, I think the home advantage will cause or will prove to be vital for Derry. So I think a Derry win, probably a couple of points. I know that might stop Meath's momentum, and I know Meath are looking for a great start. I've got a good start under Mr. O'Rourke, but I think Rory Gallagher, he'll have a research done on these Meath lads. Any threat? I know Shane Walsh has had a good start for Meath, the likes of Jordan Maris. But I think Mr. O'Rourke will be looking at the Big L this weekend, and Rory Gallagher will be delighted to give it to him.
Yeah, I think this might just be a step too soon for Meath. I think they've definitely made progress, and obviously scoring 7 goals in their opening 2 matches. But I'm sure, as you said, like Rory Gallagher, he'll know how to set that team, that Derry side up to prevent goal chances, to prevent goal opportunities, and I can just see Meath getting frustrated. And not getting those goal opportunities. And aside from the goals, really, you think about it, scored 8 points against Clare, I think 14 points against Cork. Like that's not really going to be good enough to beat Derry, I don't think, without goals. So yeah, it's probably just going to be a step too far, I think, for the Royal County.
I think so. And I think even it's funny, like, you're kind of looking from the Derry point of view. I think any threat that Meath probably have up front, I think Rory will have that full back line, the defence unit really well set up to counteract anything Meath might throw at them. I think you're looking at a Derry win. I think Gallagher is looking at Division 1 football. He will be mad to get them lads up. Shane McGuigan's in great form as well. Conor Glass, God, I don't know how that man's not exhausted. Like, Jesus, he looked absolutely exhausted in the All-Ireland final. But of course, player welfare, it's for another day's debate. Christ, we could be here all night talking about that. But I don't know how he's even fit to stand at this minute in time. But look, it's great to see him still fighting fit. But no, look, a Derry win this weekend.
Yeah, me too. And I think I might be comfortable enough as well. I think from a from a Derry perspective. I can see Meath struggling a little bit here, if I'm being honest. Clare versus Kildare, huge match. This one, I suppose, at the opposite end of the table. And Kildare, I mean, 2 defeats from 2, beaten by Dublin, played okay, but were beaten on the day.
Yeah.
And then absolutely, the floor was absolutely wiped from beneath them against the Rebels. So this is a big game for Kildare, because I mean, if they fall into a relegation battle and somehow end up getting relegated, I mean, that is, that's probably going to be one of the darkest days in Kildare's football history, I think.
Oh no, definitely. Like, oh god, like we seen the sound bites coming from Glenn Ryan after the last 2 games. Like, the Clare should have bet Dublin the first day out. That composure up front, there's missed chances at the end. I said this to, I think it was on my podcast, your podcast. Kildare should have won that game. I know it's a big thing, Croke Park, Dublin, but they should have got over the line that night. They missed so many opportunities. Cork absolutely thumped them at home. You don't get hammered in your home pitch, especially Newbridge. That was just such a shock, a freak result. Maybe it was coming Glenn Ryan after the game. He looked like he's seen a ghost. He just couldn't believe what he just seen in that Cork game. Look, Kildare point of view, they will need a win this weekend. I know Clare are in quite good form at the minute, but Kildare, I think they need to, I know they got relegated last year, but they need to withstand at least Division 2 football if they're going to even try win a Leinster Championship in the next couple of years. Even that alone, they will need to get a win this weekend, make no doubt about it. I don't know what the crack is. I don't know, do you know anything on Daniel Flynn's fitness? I don't know, is he thereabouts at the minute? He will need to come back into that Kildare setup. I know Jimmy Hyland is trying his best at the minute, but no, look, it's been a very poor start for Kildare. Clare end of things. Clare, sure, what can be said about Colm Collins at this stage? 10th or 11th year in charge, withstanding Division 2 football for the last couple of years. Fair play to them. It's a great game in prospect. A tough place, Ennis, to go for the Kildare lads. Oh, and I'm sorry to say, you could be looking at a Clare win this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, that, and look, I mean, Clare in their own backyard in Ennis, such a hard place to go. Like, it's probably one of the toughest grounds to go to in Division 2, outside of, the big boys, really. Like, I mean, and it's going to be tough for Kildare. Like it's a difficult one, because you look at them, and as you said there, like, they have Jimmy Hyland. Like, fair enough, Daniel Flynn, he's obviously, had a bit of injury problems at the minute. Can't seem to get himself back into the side at this moment in time. But they have Paddy Woodgate, Jack Robinson looks like a good up and coming young player. Like, I mean, how does it go from being impressive enough against Dublin?
Yeah.
Like, fair enough, they didn't have the finishing, like in the final third, but they physically, I thought they done well. I thought around midfield they done well. Defensively, they were fairly well set up, I felt, other than that Brian Fenton goal. So how does it go from that to being hammered by Cork in your own backyard in the space of a week? Like, I mean, that's like, you'd wonder, like, what were were the players like obviously they were training, but I mean, you just wonder what happened there,
or what happened. Like, and I know maybe a few things wrong, and game plans and tactics maybe go out the window when you're getting that much of a trouble. But I just think, as I keep alluding to Conor Moore, but we made a good few points during the week. He was literally just saying, like, for a manager maybe to say he didn't really know what's going on or what just happened in that Cork game, like, the sound bites don't sound good. Obviously, the likes of Paul Galvin, I know Paul had to leave his Kildare role there a few weeks ago, unfortunately. Obviously, he would have been a great addition this year. But look, Kildare, so Jekyll and Hyde. Like, if you're a Kildare supporter, maybe like a Mayo supporter or Armagh supporter, you have to pull your hair out. Just the inconsistencies, some of the results in the last couple of games. Kildare will need a win this weekend, but I think, as you rightly said there, Ennis is a tricky place to go down to. Owen Cleary, he could be in the form of his life this weekend. He could turn in a big performance like Sherlock the last day. God, to pick up points when you're under pressure like Kildare are, it's a very hard place to go to. And I just think, I don't know. Look, Glenn Ryan, he had 2 weeks to work on things. That could have been a saving grace. Does that swing it for them? Have they got enough work done in time for this Clare game this weekend? Oh, it's one of the hardest games to call this again, but I just think Clare might nick it, and Kildare are going to be in a lot of bother.
Yeah, like I get that point. Like, I'm nearly leaning towards Kildare just because I think they do have great players, and I think, like, you look at Glenn Ryan's time in charge of Kildare as a whole.
They need to win. Yeah, but they need to win. Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I think this is one of the biggest games of their season, really. Like, if they go and win this, then they put themselves like when you look at Limerick, they're getting cut adrift. So they're probably going to go down. Louth are showing a lot of fight, and that might be a difficult one when they play Kildare. But I think even as well, I think I heard this elsewhere, like even 6th or 5th, it might potentially go into the Tailteann Cup because of the fact that obviously one of the Connacht sides in Division 4 is going to end up in the All-Ireland series. So, I mean, even 6th, even though they might get relegated, they could still end up in the Tailteann Cup. So, because they play Dublin in the Leinster semi-finals, provided all the sides win. So, I mean, yeah, it's just huge game.
And yeah, look, Glenn Ryan, he's a very, very proud Kildare man, and he will not be happy with the start that Kildare have had. And that game against Dublin, they should have won. The game against Cork, they'll be disillusioned. So look, I'd say it's been quite a tight 2 weeks for Kildare lads. I'd say the trainings, there's been a few home truths. I'd say there's been a lot of kicking and punching probably in training sessions to get these boys motivated. They need the points. Will they get the points? Clare will love. Cons will love to put one over them this weekend. Oh God, yeah. Is that on TV this weekend?
It isn't. I don't think it is. No, it's actually a shame. It would have been a good game to watch.
Yeah. Oh, look, siege mentality from Kildare. Jacqueline Hyde. Oh, very hard to call it. But I just think home advantage is going to be huge. Clare just by a whisker, and I think Glenn Ryan's interview after this particular game this weekend will be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Kildare by the narrowest of margins, but to be honest, I'm not entirely confident about that prediction. But
and then
maybe,
but no, I was just thinking though, from a Leinster point of view, if Kildare are going to keep this form up, and we want someone else to win the Leinster Championship, and I know Meath's motoring well at the minute, but like Dublin, how much longer are Dublin going to be out in front in the Leinster Championship if Kildare are just going to keep up this crack? If Meath, we can't really rely on Meath because I know maybe the personnel might not be there, maybe O'Rourke can inherit a few players, but it's a worrying Leinster Championship maybe for the next 4 to 5 years, but wait and see.
Yeah, and let's not forget as well, Kildare won an under-20 All-Ireland there about 3-4 years ago, so they certainly do have young players, in and around the county, very strong at club level as well. So it'll certainly be an interesting game to keep an eye on. Louth and Limerick, maybe quickly to discuss this one. I mean, it's probably not a lot really to break down here. It's probably going to be low score. And then, I mean, Louth have looked better of the two, but albeit Limerick have faced Derry and Dublin, who are the two strongest teams in the division at this moment in time.
Well, look, Limerick, in fairness, they've got a very, very tricky start. The likes of Dublin walked over them. Derry bet them. So Limerick, in fairness, you have to kind of feel sorry for them. They've had a very tricky start. Is that can they target a win this weekend? I think they absolutely can. I know Louth are in quite good form at the minute, but Limerick will need a win this weekend. Will it come this weekend? I'm not sure. RD, tricky place to go to. Life in Division 2 is very difficult for Limerick at the minute. Ian Corbett will need to step up if they've any chances again. Samuel Roy. Oh, God, would you be looking at a draw in that game? I'm not sure. Mickey Hart would be mad to get a win as well. Will the Limerick misery in this league so far go on? Oh, can Limerick do the unthinkable? I think this 2-week break might serve them well. Oh, Limerick maybe to shade it, especially after such a bad start, because they need a win.
Yeah, that's a surprising prediction. I suppose they did look good in the second half against Dublin, albeit that, Dublin were leading by about 20 points, I think, or 15 or 20 points at half time. But look, they made a bit more of a game out of it, and they dragged the lead back and had a bit more of a positive finish. I'm going to go for Louth. I think at home, I think they've looked good in their opening 2 games. Nearly beat Clare, nearly beat Derry. I think it'll be a big setback for Louth if they lose this and they look back and think we nearly won 3 games but came away with nothing. So I think I'll go with Louth by the smallest of margins.
Yeah, home advantage. But look, what are we based it on? I'm not sure, but I just think Limerick, Ray Dempsey, he'll be mad to get a win this again after such a poor start. And look, that probably start was expected. Tight game. Either side could go on and win it, but I'll go with Limerick because Billy Lee's such a gent.
Yeah, looking at Division 3, your own county, Cavan up against Longford. Neighbours as well, aren't you? So, I mean,
a bit of a rivalry.
Yeah. So, I mean, this will be this will be an interesting one. I mean, 2 wins from 2 so far. I mean, it's looking good anyway for Division 3 push.
Division 3, Division 2. We're not still in Division 4. Jesus, get us out of there. Oh, Jesus. No, look, it's been a great start. I know I was on your podcast a couple of months ago, maybe previewing the season and wonder what the permutations are going to be. But no, it's been a good start. The lads have been very professional about their business so far. I didn't expect, as I said, I didn't expect us to beat Westmeath. We got over the line by just a couple of points. Tricky place to go to. Put Tipperary to the sword. It was great to see us, putting a team to a sword. Tipperary obviously down the likes of Conor Sweeney, Michael Quinlivan. So it was great to see that kind of response by the Cavan lads keeping the foot down in the throat. So great start so far. I think we get a win this weekend. Get us out of Division 3 because I'm contrasting our form and like when we play to our best standards. Like I think we can be as good as the likes of Donegal and Monaghan. We potentially have Armagh now in the Ulster Championship, and we just need to get out of this division, kind of like Division 4 last year. We need to consolidate ourselves, even in the likes of Division 2, and just get Cav up to where it belongs. I think we are looking at a win this weekend. It'll be feisty enough affair. We played them in the 2021 COVID League as well, just about got over the line that day. But yeah, I think we should get the win this weekend. And the likes of Oisin Brady showing great form. Ryan O'Neill showing good form. Piley Lynch came on the last day. I think Garode McCarran and James Smith should be fit for this game. I think it's game 3 they were meant to be aiming for. So I think this game, hopefully we might see them feature and come on. But yeah, hopefully win this weekend. And let's get out of Division 3, please. August, thank you.
Yeah, you reckon it'll be comfortable enough then? I mean, Longford
Longford
are in poor enough form, aren't they, under Paddy Christie? It really hasn't gone too well so far. I mean, it's been a difficult fixture list for them, like away to Fermanagh, Westmeath and Cavan, probably 2 of the stronger sides, but it is looking like a relegation battle for Longford, realistically.
No, I think so. And poor Paddy, so was Paddy Christie, probably knew what he was signing up for down in Longford there, and I know they did win the O'Born Cup, but no, I think it's Longford. Unfortunately, they don't have maybe the player pool to pick from. I know a lot of young lads that kind of came in there. Paddy Christie's got a lot of boys back, and I know Billy O'Loughlin left after last year. But no, I think it could be a Cavan. Should be, and could be. Well, hopefully, will be a Cavan win this weekend. Just keep the winning habit up, and get the 2 points because. Yeah, I think we should be setting our standards higher than in Division 3, and realising the potential and quality of footballers we have within the county. And we hopefully continue to do this with that this weekend. Longford end of things, as you said, it's been a poor start, but Division 4 just wouldn't be suiting Longford because if they go down there, they might be stuck down there.
100%. Fermanagh and down. I mean, down 2 wins from 2 so far. I mean, I suppose narrowly got over the line against Antrim, maybe a bit closer than people expected. But I suppose, as you know very well, as a Cavan man going away to Fermanagh, always a difficult place to go.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And Conor Lafferty, he will be very aware of it's Edinderry, or I can never pronounce Edinderry, can never pronounce that. That's the first one of the night. But yeah, no, look, that game will be a tight one. I think if it was down Enniskillen, you'd actually tip your hat to Fermanagh to get over the line, the likes of Sean Quigley. They need to get Enniskillen sorted. The surface down there just seems to be in very, very bad nick. I think down might just shade this. I think you have to be looking at Sean Quigley for the Fermanagh end things to get the scores. It will need to be a Sean Quigley masterclass for him to get over the line. Will Conor Lafferty have the game smarts to stuff him out of the game? I think so. I think down by maybe 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go for a draw here. I think I haven't, although I know a lot of people look at down and they've been impressed with them so far. I haven't got the opening 2 wins, but realistically, they have played 2 relegation sides in Tipperary and Antrim, and I'm not entirely convinced by them 100% just yet. I think they've still a long way to go, really, to be up there with the top Ulster teams, is what people have been saying. But as you said, 2 wins from 2 so far. They can be very happy with that. But I'm going to go for a draw for this one. Westmeath and Offaly, two rivals
Midlands
as well.
Midland Derby.
Midlands Derby, yeah. I mean, these two, Westmeath obviously beat. What did you say? Relations.
Westmeath relations, big man.
100%. What do you reckon then? I mean, Westmeath probably be the favourites here, you think?
Yeah, like I think if Westmeath want to set their stall out and realise and show the country how good a footballers and team they are, like they did in the Tottenham Cup final last year against ourselves, I think they should be targeting a win this weekend. It'll not be easy. I know Westmeath gave Offaly a bit of a lesson in the Tottenham Cup semi-final last year, but I think you will be looking at a Westmeath win. I know obviously we bet them first day, they hammered Longford last day out, but I think they'll have enough in their artillery to get over the line here. I think Offaly quite up and down. Are we looking at Offaly win this weekend? I don't think so. Westmeath probably play a good few points. John Heslin will be on form. Sure, even the likes of Ronan O'Toole, classy footballer. Even the likes of Sam McCartan. I think Westmeath, they will need. Look, if Westmeath want to get promotion to Division 2 this year, they will need to get a win this weekend, and I think they will get it.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Westmeath as well. I mean, they have been very unpredictable in the league in the last couple of seasons, but I think that was a good result against Longford, and we know they have the ability to go out. And I think for Liam Kearns, it's probably a case of putting the jigsaw together first of all, getting the players back from injury and everything else. Tipperary Antrim, maybe a quick one on that. I mean, two sides I think we would expect to be in a relegation battle, really. Tipperary now out. Conor Sweeney, he's going to be out for a year. I mean, you'd look at it and think it's a great opportunity for Antrim. I mean, they played all right in their opening two games. I mean, scoring 217 against Down is a decent tally, and you'd say, like, most likely, I think these two will probably go down, to be honest. But it's a massive opportunity for either one of these two just to get points on the board and build up a bit of confidence.
Yeah, and look, it's probably reminiscent of maybe Tipperary's 2020 Munster success, and it just feels like moons ago at this stage. Obviously, shared success with us on that great day, but no, I think Tipperary, if they were to go down to Division 4 again, and I know obviously the loss of Conor Sweeney is huge, and we kind of put them to the sword the last day out. But look, this game, quality wise, will not be there, unfortunately. Antrim, I know you made a good point. It's a huge maybe chance for Antrim to get points on board or target a win, but I don't even think Antrim even have the quality to push themselves on in this game. You're probably looking at a drab affair. I think you could be, I'd say Tipperary by 3 or 4 points maybe. But Jesus, you just wouldn't be making the trip to that game.
No, look at that. I don't. You'd wonder even if there'd be much supporters early at the game. But yeah, I think I'll go for Antrim, to be honest. I think like, I haven't seen them play, but I mean, they scored 217 against the downside, who are probably going to be battling for promotion. I think is a good number to put up. But as you said, it's a very, very I suppose unappealing game that's happening this weekend. Looking at some of the Division 4 fixtures then, we'll just run through them briefly. It's Wicklow versus London, Sligo against Waterford, Carlow against Laois, and Wexford against Leitrim. I suppose a quick one, Wicklow, London. What do you think there?
Oh, is that in Wicklow, Auckram?
It is, yeah.
Oh, Lord above. Oisin McConville badly needs points. Oisin McConville badly needs a win.
London, though, are such an unpredictable.
And Enda Lynn from Derry playing for them this year as well. He's a huge addition in that dressing room. Oh, Lordy. I think London might just get the win here, and Oisin McConville will be gobsmacked.
Oh, that might be the bet of the weekend, But to be honest, I wouldn't go too much against it either. Like, I think Wicklow have got a few decent lads, in around the squad, but at the same time, it is early days for Oisin McConville, so you could see a result like this happening. I mean, you look at Andy Moran's Leitrim last year, and they got bet by London in his first
We only
season.
bet them by 1 point last year, yeah.
Yeah, so like you just don't know, like.
Yeah. No, I think, look, I know coming over to Auckram and the flight and a bit of jet lag, but look, Wicklow with home advantage, it could serve them well, but I think upset-wise, I think London might just snake this one.
Sligo versus Waterford. I think we're both comfortably going with Sligo here.
Sligo. Yeah. Sligo. And McEntee will be mad to get a win. McEntee will be trying to get out of Division 4 with that Sligo team. Sligo is a proud footballing county. They need to get out of Division 4. Will it be this year? I'm not sure. But I think Sligo with the big W this weekend.
Carlow and Laois with 2 wins from the start. Looks like Billy Sheehan's got these lads motoring after a difficult year last year. It was a big win on the opening weekend versus Sligo, and I suppose Laois are now the favourites. I mean, I'm still not entirely convinced by them just yet, but I think a lot of people are like I think Sean Kavanagh said on the Sunday game that they're a Division 2 side. Definitely don't agree with that.
No, no, I don't agree with anything that man. Fantastic, good point. Yeah.
I think the connection might have cut out there as you were speaking about Sean Kavanagh. I'm not too sure if he was trying to interfere with my internet or something. Maybe he's watching.
Maybe he is shooting towards someone. Yes, I think Laois and who is it? Laois and who? Laois and Carlo, is it?
Yeah, Laois and Carlo, yeah.
Laois and Carlo.
That's the one, yeah.
Oh, super, yeah. Look, I think Laois in a narrow victory, quality wise. Again, it's funny. Like you're staring down the bottom of Division 4. Like I think fair play to these lads playing for both of these sets of counties to keep the momentum going, to keep the show on the roads in Division 4. We see with the player rows at the minute, the players not getting expenses. I had to just tip my hat to anyone playing in Division 4 at this stage or for these teams. It's a real credit to them. But Laois in a job affair, I'd say.
Yeah, Richie was saying there Longford by 12 in relation to the Cavan Longford game.
Don't give me a heart attack, Richie. Don't give me a heart attack.
Geez, we wouldn't get you on again then. I think you'd probably just hibernate for the rest of the year. You wouldn't be able to cross the border.
I don't know what to do. Hibernation, big man. Hibernation.
Definitely. Wexford Leitrim, the last game. Are Wexford going to get the act together finally, or?
I think, I think Leitrim will get over the line. Narrow game once again, probably high scoring for these two teams. But yeah, I think Andy Moran will be targeting to win this again. Andy Moran will want to get promotion this year, like the likes of McEntee as well. But I think Leitrim will keep the momentum up. Keep Aaron, shout out to him. 2-17 in 2 league games, if I'm correct. Matthew Hurley had them stats. Top scorer in the league, so I think that'll serve a huge purpose this weekend. Shout out as well to Nevin O'Donnell, used to play for Cavan. He's like the sub goalie. I didn't know he was a goalie, but there you go. But there we go. Yeah, I think Leitrim will get the win, and that rounds it up for us.
100%. What do you think then? Player to watch this weekend, bet of the weekend. I suppose you went with London to be Wicklow, but then again, I don't know if that's a huge bet really, but
yeah. God, there were so many fixtures there. God, do bet of the weekend. What are we thinking? God, yeah. John, when there's so many games, and you kind of have to refresh your head again a bit. But I don't know. Bet of the weekend. I suppose we might just go with Roscommon, maybe to keep up that winning momentum, and just in the slightest victory, and Davy Burke will be over the moon this weekend if they get a line. So I'll just keep going with that Roscommon bandwagon. And player to watch, where do we think? And player to watch, God, I should have these things wrote down in front of me. Player to watch, Kerry, Mayo. Oh lordy, God, player to watch. Yeah, it's kind of like when I ask you on my podcast, Joe, when you're kind of stuck to it. Player,
you've got all the faces, but not the names.
The faces, but not the names. Player to watch this weekend. Just so many games. God, my head's fried. So much football talked. Armagh. That expensive thing just threw me off completely. I'll go with maybe from. Who's Armagh playing? Oh my God, my head, it's absolutely fried here. Oh my God, some of the fixtures there from a Kerry end of things. Maybe Tony O'Sullivan against Mayo this weekend. Can he reproduce the goods? Yeah. What about yourself?
I think maybe not. I'd be curious to see Aidan O'Shea again, just against Kerry, especially going in against that full back line of Tom O'Sullivan. You'd imagine Jason Foley probably picking him up, but it'd just be very interesting to see how he got on against
what to do with him, or how to utilize him.
Yeah, just to see, because I think a lot of us maybe thought that O'Shea's best days were behind them, and look, you can't change your opinion based on one game, but I think it just would be very interesting sort of watching that and sort of watching that unfold, and I suppose from a Dublin perspective, it'd be great to see Jack McCaffrey and Paul Mannion line back out from a Dublin
It'd
perspective.
be great to see McCaffrey. It'd be great to see McCaffrey if he does get started or comes on. It'd be great to, like, the roar. I think.
Yeah,
I know it's Parky Quay, but it'd be great to see him back. Yeah.
Yeah, just to see him run with the ball again, just see him do that sort of trademark run. And I often remember as well his goal against Cork actually in 2013, I think it was.
Yeah.
The cracking goal. And that was kind of when he just burst onto the scene. So I think it'd be reminiscent for him to actually play against Cork. He tends to have great games against Cork down the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, John McMahon, cheers very much for
or maybe player to watch, yeah. Stephen Sherlock.
Oh, there we go. We go.
Sorry. You're doing your sign off. Stephen Sherlock, player to watch against the Dubs. I'll throw me ring into the hat or whatever that say it is, and sure we'll see how we get on.
Perfect.
We'll see.
John, cheers very much.
Test the Dublin full back line out. Yeah. No worries, sir. Thanks a million. Cheers.